Welcome to Unleash the Awesome with Dave Gambrill. All of us have unique skills, talents, and abilities that aren't being used to their full potential. Our mission is to share the people, tools, apps, and other resources that will help you unleash your awesome on the world.
Yo, what's up, friends? This is Dave Gambrill. Welcome to another episode of Unleash the Awesome. Today we're going to talk about leveraging the power of AIDA for your marketing. But before we get into that, I wanted to let you know about one of the most outstanding marketing courses and coaching programs I've ever been a part of. It's called the One Funnel Away Challenge. It's from my friends over at Clickfunnels. And if you go to gambrill.com/OFA, yes, that's my affiliate link, you can get access to the One Funnel Away Challenge for only $100. What is the One Funnel Away Challenge? Well, it's 30 days of training and coaching in everything you need to know about marketing. A little bit of copywriting, how to put your offers together, persuasion, how to put your funnels together, all of that stuff is all there for you. And it's only $100. You just have to invest the time to go through it and do it. You also get access to all kinds of other resources they'll send you if you want. So again, just go to gambrill.com/OFA, which stands for One Funnel Away, and you can get access to it for just $100. I'll make sure the links are there for you in the show notes as well. Okay, so let's talk about marketing. I'm actually reading Russell Brunson's book right now. He's the co-founder of Clickfunnels, and he's written a number of books called Expert Secrets and .com Secrets, but he's got a new one coming out called Traffic Secrets, and he sent me an advanced copy of that, and I'm going through it now, and the whole premise behind that book is about how he sees so many entrepreneurs failing because they spend so much time thinking about their product and how awesome their product is, and frankly, how awesome they are, and they give very little time to understanding their customer. Who is their dream customer? Who is their customer avatar or customer persona? And he tells some stories in there about that and some other things, and you'll be able to get access to the book too pretty soon. I'll tell you all about how you can pre-order and get access to some other cool things in an upcoming podcast. But as I'm reading that, I'm thinking about people who are probably in that same situation. There's a lot of people in my inner circle, in my sphere of influence, in my group, Digital Marketing Mentorship with Dave Gambrill over there on Facebook. There are a lot of people who obsess over the writing of the book or the building of their project or putting their course together, and they're not thinking about the marketing piece of it. So for those of you who have not had formal education in marketing, I want to share something with you today, which almost everybody is taught in marketing class, probably in Marketing 101. And if you've ever seen the movie Glengarry Glen Ross, you've certainly seen this shared. But this is really what you're trying to do in the marketing process as you're moving people through knowing that you're who you are and what you do and what's available and what you make, all the way through to the buying process. Okay, and it's called AIDA, and it's actually shaped like a funnel. And this is all marketing funnels, like ClickFunnels and some of those other things. As you build a funnel, this is all you're really trying to do is move people through this marketing funnel, and the acronym is AIDA, AIDA, AIDA. Okay, so if you think about the top of the funnel, okay, the widest part, the mouth of the funnel, that would be attention. That's what the A stands for, attention. The first thing you're trying to do for people is just get their attention. That's why a lot of times when you're scrolling through your Facebook feeds or Twitter or whatever, Instagram, you'll see people who are really good at getting you to stop scrolling. Okay, they're like, whoa, what is that? Okay, that's getting your attention. What is the pattern interrupt? Okay, pattern interrupts are helpful for that as well. You got to get people's attention. You have to rise above the noise and just get it quickly. Russell talks about this hook story offer, right? Put the hook out there. How do you hook them? How do you get their attention? How do you get them to start coming towards you and listening for more? If you've ever been to Costco, one of the big box retailers, what do they call those places? Warehouse clubs. They do samples. They sample the products. Like you can taste some of the stuff they're selling, and they'll do it like every other aisle. And that is getting attention. They got your attention with these little carts, and everybody goes over there and like, what are they sampling today? And it's crazy watching this. But then you'll taste it, you'll try the sample, and you go like, oh, man, maybe I want to buy that thing. That's just a good example of awareness. They're trying to get attention. They're trying to get people's either attention or their awareness. That's another term that people use for the top of the funnel, making people aware that there's something there that they may want. Okay. So the first one is attention or awareness. The second part of the funnel, as you go down a little bit, the funnel starts to narrow, and this would be the I. And AIDA, this is interest. This is now getting people interested in what it is you have, what it is you're doing. Going back to that example at Costco, now people are tasting it and they're trying to figure out whether or not they're interested in this thing. Do they like it? For you, part of this is, especially if you are like a speaker, trainer, coach, consultant, somebody like that, who you have a personal brand as well. This is where people are trying to figure out whether or not they know, like, and trust you. Okay, know, like, and trust. And this is why I'm such a big fan of doing Facebook Lives or podcasts, or I think videos are definitely best. I mean, in person is number one best, but the next best option would be any way that you can do videos. And then I guess third best would probably be podcasts, and then probably the written word. So people can get to know you. They can figure out who you are, and then they can figure out whether they like you or trust you. And frankly, I don't care if people like me or hate me. I really don't want people to be in the middle. Because my friend Jim Edwards says, love me or hate me, there's no money in the middle. All right, so this is the point where you want people to get to like you or frankly not like you. And that's why you can start sharing as you're sharing your stories and things like that, or in this part of your funnel or this part of your blog or this part of whatever, you're writing your book, you start sharing some of the things you believe in, some of the things you don't believe in, some of the things that you hold closely as values for you, okay? So interest, how do you get people interested? That's the second phase of this, of AIDA, of the AIDA funnel or the marketing model. Okay, interest. How do you get people interested? And one of the ways you can do it is podcasts. You can do the blogs. You can do all these other things, but you can even do it through email marketing with sharing what we might call a Seinfeld sequence. That's another term I learned from Russell Brunson. It's just a series of emails that are really not about anything in particular, and it's not about your product necessarily, but it tells a little bit about your story, maybe some stories of people that have come into your world and what it is you're all about and what it is you're trying to do and the mission that you're on. So for me, like, my mission is to help people unleash their awesome. So maybe I would tell some stories about that, or how I came across that, or where my epiphany was, or whatever. You could just share those things. Okay. So it's attention or awareness, and then interest. And then the D in AIDA stands for desire. Desire. Now we're moving people to wanting this thing. Do they really want it? So going back to the example of Costco and the samples, now that they've tasted it, they're like, yeah, I really like this. I want it, right? And so you should be prepared at this point to talk about some of the things that will help these people. So the transformation that your product will give them, right? So this will help build some desire in them. Don't start with the features and benefits. Don't go there. Talk about the transformation that your product brings for them. If you're selling, these food items at Costco or whatever, it might be that it's an easier to prepare dinner for, working parents or whatever. And yes, it tastes good, but that's kind of just like a bonus, right? So you share some of the transformation, not the information, but the transformation, and then people will start to desire it. Okay, you can also start sharing some success stories here. You can share testimonials. You can share some other stuff. This would probably be in your funnel where you might start listing out the offer itself, so the offer stack and any of the bonuses that you have, because now people are like, ooh, I really want that. Ooh, okay, yes, yeah, okay. Now, yes, I would like to buy your thing now. Okay, and that's where you're trying to move people in this process. And you do the same thing with your email sequences and things like that. But again, people are going to move through this process, and sometimes they move through it very quickly, especially if they already know you. They'll move through these much faster. If they don't know you, or you're driving cold traffic, as we call it, meaning you're buying ads and people are landing on your page or listening to your podcast for the first time, or just getting on your email list for the first time, and they don't know who you are, you really have to be careful about how you march them through this process. You can't go too fast to the call to action, because if people don't go through this process, then they're going to be like, no, I'm not giving you $2,000 or whatever. They're not going to see the value in it. So that's why this stuff is so important, and understanding that people are going to go through this process no matter what it is they're buying or getting involved in. Okay. So AIDA, again, is attention or awareness, interest. The third one is desire. And then the last A is action, getting people to take action. This is where countdown timers and scarcity and limited quantities and 2 for 1 if you call now type things that you see on infomercial, that's where you start using all those levers to get people to take action. Why should they take action now? A lot of things I like to do, I believe in the product launch idea that I learned from Jeff Walker. So I like to have things available only for a limited time, and then we cut it off. We don't let people enroll until maybe 6 months later, maybe a year later, depends on what it is we're doing. But that just creates natural urgency and scarcity without us having to make some false thing about, hey, this is only available for the next 10 minutes, right? Have you ever heard a commercial or either on satellite radio? I hear them a lot. I used to see them on TV when they're like, when the next 10 callers, or this is available for the next 10 minutes only. Well, if you know anything about media buying, you know that they bought those commercials like a few weeks ago and that they knew they would run in a certain time slot or during certain hours, but they don't really know when they're running. So those things were really not real. Those countdown timers or next 10 people, they were just getting you to take action, but they weren't legitimate scarcity things. They were false scarcity. And you see those used all the time, but I'm not a huge fan of that. I would prefer real scarcity and urgency. So I just say, listen, we're either going to cut it off at 100 people who enroll, or we're going to cut it off on this day or whatever. And then I hold to it. I know some people like to do the close cart and then they open it for a few days with another payment plan or whatever. I'm not a huge fan of that. I prefer to be a person of my word and just say, listen, we're going to close enrollment on, the 5th of this month, or when we reach 100 people, and that's it. And then that just creates the urgency and scarcity. You don't need to worry about making things up. One other thing you can do if you're not going to close enrollment, or it's not a launch sequence and you're going to have what we call an evergreen offer, something that's out there for a really long time, sometimes what you can do is use take away bonuses to create some urgency and scarcity. So, hey, if you do this now, right? I just did this during a launch that I'm helping Dean Graziosi and Tony Robbins with. I said, if people who invested through my affiliate link in this program on the first night, they'd do it by midnight or the first night that it was available, they were going to get all these cool things. And then I took them away, and I've not offered them since then. That you could still get enrolled in this program or do this thing, but you're not going to get those bonuses from me. What I did was I chose to take the bonuses off to get people to move to a little bit of urgency. Okay, so this is the last step of AIDA. How do you get people to take action? And then there's a lot of science around once they've taken action, can you upsell them right on the spot? And so sometimes you'll see funnels and other marketing tactics where you say, okay, fine, yes, I want to buy this thing. And then if it's a consumable product, sometimes they'll say, hey, you can get another bottle of the same thing or another container of the same thing for half price. Do you want it? And you're like, yeah, I guess, okay. And then that increases their sales, right, and their average cart volume. But something to consider too is that once people have made that positive purchase action, you can usually do a one-time offer or limited time offer right there for them, like, hey, buy one for a friend or whatever. So that's why a lot of times too, you'll see those on infomercials. Hey, if you buy now, you're going to get not one for $19.95, but two of these things for $19.95. That's because they know they've got you in this action phase. And now that your credit card out and you're ready to buy, let's get you moving. Okay, so this is getting you to desire it even more and then take action. And then if it's something where you go to a website or they get you on the phone, they'll probably try to put you on a subscription program, a delivery thing, something like that. So I just went through a thing where I ordered this meal replacement shake, and I was like, okay, fine, here, I want it. And then I got through the shopping cart process, and okay, I want to buy one pouch of it. And I did that, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, you can get another pouch for whatever. And I was like, no, I don't really want that. And then they said, and if you subscribe, so we send you a pouch of this meal replacement shake, whatever, each month, you can get 20% off this order and all of those orders that will come each month. And I was like, okay. So I took that offer, right? You can cancel at any time, but those are some of the strategies that people use in that process. So these are all parts of the marketing process, all part of the things that you would put in your funnel. And if you follow what Russell does over at Clickfunnels, they have all kinds of features that allow you to do these kind of things with their software, because he understands this stuff and he has a background. He really has studied direct response marketing, and that's what infomercials and things like that are from. They're from the direct response industry. So he's incorporated a lot of that stuff in the online marketing space. So you have to figure out how to do this stuff, how to use AIDA, which again is attention, interest, desire, and action. You have to move all of your prospects through that funnel in some way, shape, or form, whether it's you're doing it on a discovery call, or you're doing it through the copy on your sales page or in your sales funnel, or you're doing it through the copy in your email sequence that you're sending out, or maybe you're doing it through a sequence in a product launch or through a series of Facebook Lives or something that you're doing, Instagram stories you're doing over the course of a couple days, you have to move people through this process. It's just naturally how they go through it. People typically don't show up with their credit card in their hand and just say, take my money, right? I know there's a meme that talks about that, shut up and take my money, but that only happens if you already know the person or they have at least described the product so well that meets one of the pain points that you have, that you move very quickly through all those. So they got your attention, you're interested, yes, oh my gosh, yes, I want that, and you desire it, and then you're ready to take action, you have your money or credit card out. You move through those phases. It just depends on how fast you move. And obviously the higher ticket items takes a little bit longer for people to move through that process. So if you think about buying a house or shopping for a car, right? You typically don't say, hey, I want a car, and then go to the car lot and then leave an hour later, driving off the lot in a new car, right? Usually you're like, okay, I'm interested in, I'm aware that I want to get a new car. I'm interested in looking what's out there. You go and you test drive a few and you check them out. And I want this or this or whatever, right? And then you start to desire certain features, and then you're ready to take action, right? And that's why a lot of times the car dealers will say, hey, if you get it by the end of the month, because they're incentivized to do things on monthly schedule. Hey, if you can get it by the end of the month, we can take another $500 off, or we can add this, or give you this feature, or include floor mats, or whatever silly things they do these days. Those are all part of the sales process. So I would encourage you, if you're not currently selling things, just become a student of this process and watch it unfold in the things that you buy as a consumer, but also as you're getting targeted as a consumer. Watch it and go, oh, okay, this is what's happening here. This is a part of the process. They're just using the AIDA model, and they're trying to move people through this process. And the more you get to understand this, the more you learn it for yourself, the easier it is for you to just naturally, is probably not the best way to put it, but more effortlessly put these things into play into what it is you're doing. Because you'll find, and I have found, that when you put this stuff into play very methodically into your sales funnels, into what it is you're doing as it relates to marketing your product, you'll have much greater success than if you were to ignore this outright. Okay, so that's all for today's episode of Unleash the Awesome. The AIDA model: attention, interest, desire, and action. You should leverage that for your marketing activities, and I think you will see new levels of success that you have not seen before. So put that into play, and until next time, go unleash your awesome on the world. See ya.
Thanks for listening to Unleash the Awesome. Please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review wherever you listen to your podcasts. And please share us on your favorite social media platforms using #UnleashAwesome.